Okay. It's on Paradox, right?
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
cold today.
It was
It
cold
was
today.
cold yesterday, but it was even colder today. And I got sunburned.
That is a paradox.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not actually. That's not entirely true. People can get sunburnt in Antarctica.
Yeah, well, that's just like you're getting double exposure, aren't you? Because it's hitting off the sun or the snow.
Snow, yeah. Yeah, but once there's sun out, you can get sunburn.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's the sun actually that does it.
Chris, you're onto something.
Yeah.
You're onto something.
I'm no expert. Let me tell you that for nothing.
I mean, let us know in the comments.
Yeah. They call it sun cream, not heat cream. That's for sure.
Oh shit.
Whoa, motherfucker. Is that the intro to this episode?
You want?
Sure.
Praise the sun.
Praise the sun, everybody. That if you got sun, depending on where you are, you might not have. I don't know. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. Hi, Chris. Joined by my brothers Adam.
Hello.
And Eric.
Hello.
And we are back in the room once more to talk about video games because that's what we usually talk about when we're here. And in this week's episode, we're going to be talking about graphics and whether or not graphics actually have an impact on our enjoyment in video games. How much do graphics matter? Do graphics matter at all even? That's what we're going to talk about. And maybe some of the games that have kind of highlighted those points, whether we're kind of strongly for very good graphics or where it's like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Who cares? As long as the game is fun, who cares what it looks like, right? You might feel that way. It's going to be pretty chill, I think. It's going to be pretty chill convo. And we'd love people to get involved in the convo at any point. So if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to jump into the comments at any point. Let us know how you feel about the importance of graphics in gaming. Do you like everything to look fucking real, high 4K HDR? Or are you like, no, I like my indie games. I don't give a fuck how it looks as long as it's a bit of crack and I can play it repetitively and quickly. We'll be talking about all that kind of stuff. So do jump down into the comments. And if you're listening to us on audio platforms, you can touch base with us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take to let us know any of your takes on this conversation and this discussion in general. You can also, if you enjoyed this on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and click that notification bell so that you don't miss future content. But without further ado, let's talk video games. I did that before.
Mm-hmm.
I used that intro before.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure you told me that someone else has used that intro. And I said I'd never do it again. And I did it again. And I just remembered that I did it again.
I think it's fine. I think it's fine.
I should not have done that.
But I don't think...
Someone should sue me.
No, I don't think they can.
Can they not? Unless they
No.
copyrighted it.
Yeah.
What if I said that's all, folks, at the end of every episode? Is that okay?
Well,
how recognizable does the slogan have to be before it's like, no, you cannot say that?
I think it's more about how it's said, not what's said.
Yeah, if you copy exactly how it's said as well.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure if I just said, let's get to the chopper, Arnie's not going to come after me, is he?
Well, especially if there's a chopper that we're trying to get to.
Exactly.
You're just saying it as it is.
Yeah.
I also feel though.
Or if I plan on coming back.
Like, if you will be back, then
Like I think it's a little late to be kind of worried about quoting people, considering about the times we go, wow, or barely an inconvenience. The amount of times we quote everyone.
Why? Who does that? I don't know.
Never done that on this. That's the first time that's been recorded. Are you trying to get us demonetized there?
We're straight off of YouTube now. We're only audio from now on. Where did actually?
This would have been a very short conversation though at the start of this episode, where you were like, "Do graphics matter?" And both of us went, "Nope.
No,
that's it. Over now."
Where did this? I think this topic was suggested by Adam. Adam, where did it come from?
Oddly enough, not while playing the game.
Really? Where did it come from?
I was watching Godzilla.
Yeah.
I was watching...
Which one now? Sorry.
Okay. The 1998 one.
Yeah.
The 2014 one.
Right.
King of the Monsters,
Yeah.
Shin Godzilla,
Shin
And,
Godzilla.
and while I was leading up to watching Godzilla vs Kong,
Right.
and I think the 1998 one is like hated quite a lot, but I
Yeah.
think it looks kind of cool.
Do you know
I
what?
think,
There seems to be a trend here, actually.
well,
If everyone else hates a movie, you dig it.
well, I don't think it's like the greatest thing ever, but I think it's fine.
Yeah. It's.
But I
it's
think
fine.
the creature and stuff, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
But then you get to the 2014 one. I think visually that's awesome. That's really cool. But those films are not rated quite well, and it's like the highest rated newest Godzilla film is the Shin Godzilla one.
Right.
And in watching that, I was like, oh man, what was their budget?
Okay.
Visually, it's like this.
Oh
looks
yeah, it's
dated.
not great like the
Yeah.
special effects.
So
that
that
they have.
kind of pulled me out of it, right? So I'm
Right.
like,
Right.
in what, and I think that happens quite a bit in movies where you're like, this looks fake. So it's kind of like pulling me out of it. So that's why I was like thinking about this whole conversation around like graphics in games. Obviously, that's the main thing. Like it's all computer generated. There's very few games that uses real life photography. They do exist, but there's not that many.
Yeah. Erica is an example, I suppose, of one where it's all real life.
Oh yeah, I thought you were saying that my life is a game. I didn't hear the A part in Erica.
Right.
Eric is a video game. He's a prime example.
Well, actually, yes,
Real life.
it is.
Yeah. But
That was a weird game.
yeah, so I think I know you mentioned just in the intro about there like being indie games and stuff. But even their graphics are like cool, like for what they're wanting to achieve. Their graphics are cool. So really, this kind of conversation only applies to some degree on games that are within the AAA like kind of status. So if you had like a Call of Duty and the next Call of Duty, or a good example is like remember Mortal Kombat when Mortal Kombat 9 came out.
Right.
It was like you think that a studio with this
Budget, yeah.
well, this amount of experience in making video games could make a game that, like, I mean, there's not that much. How much is there to fighting games? Like, I know there's a lot to it, but in comparison to some other games that are out there, they could make the visuals bump them up a bit. So in that case, do graphics matter?
Okay. So what? Okay. Why don't we start there? Like, not how much do graphics matter in a game, right? Because that's another aspect of this. First of all, do graphics matter? Full stop. Do graphics matter?
Well,
to you in a game? And this is obviously only our take. Like some people, it might be no, not at all. I just enjoy games if they're fun. And then some people might be like, if I don't like the graphics, I don't play the game. Full stop. So Eric, do graphics matter?
Well, that would depend on the game.
Okay.
On whether the graphics.
What do you mean by graphics?
What do you mean by game and matter?
Yeah. What is a game?
Like if we take again, like I was playing Final Fantasy VII, the original couple of weeks or months ago. Enjoyed it. I'm playing Final Fantasy VIII at the moment. Actually, I can play it. Not particularly thinking it's better than 7, that's for sure. But I'm playing it.
Yeah.
I'm able to. Final Fantasy 9, I could play. If we take XCOM 2, sure, I'm pretty sure I said that was one of my favorite games one of the years. Like in the year it was released.
Yeah.
That didn't have stellar, amazing graphics. So for me, I find graphics only have to be amazingly AAA, depending on essentially the vibe the product is wanting to give off. So we take Uncharted, which is trying to be very cinematic and movie-like, or even Metal Gear Solid. Graphics do matter because the more realistic it is, the more movie-like it is, and therefore it works. But if the game is just recognizing this is a game, we're not really going to like shy away from that, then I don't really think graphics need to matter. So if it's a very heavy story-driven game, I think graphics do, and especially on like character, like emotions and expressions,
Right.
because you need to be able to see that on their faces. While if a game is just like XCOM or Dead Nation or something, you know, where it's a top down and you're just mowing down a horde of zombies and you don't know why, graphics don't really need to be amazing because you're just playing for the crack. You're not playing it for like, oh my god, this is so photorealistic. Look at the bullets, like, you know. So
Oh, yeah, sure,
sure. That's my 2 cents on that topic.
Okay, Adam, and this is not how much do graphics matter. Adam, do graphics matter?
Yes, I think there's some the reason I kind of want to have that discussion is because I think there is a kind of a it is a discussion where it's graphics don't matter and it's just about the gameplay, right? It's only the gameplay matters. Only the gameplay matters.
Right.
And I would disagree with that. I think graphics do matter. And I would even consider the graphics in XCOM to be pretty good, though. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
yeah, but when you're
like,
comparing it to other games that came at the time, like.
No, even in comparison, like, so I think Journey, for example, the graphics are amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not necessarily everything needs to be photorealistic. However, within the games that we're wanting to be photorealistic, we can then start judging them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there are certain games where they come out and you kind of think, come on, your graphics you could be a little bit, you know, better here. And I think they do matter. Otherwise, like, why is everyone jumping out to get new graphics cards? Why are we pushing for more pixels on screen? You know, yes, there are other benefits to buying new consoles, but let's face it, when you see a good showcase of a new brand new game and you see those graphics, you're like, oh my god, like that's the first thing. That's your first kind of sensory experience of a game is going to be how does it look, and then I would say your secondary experience with it is going to be, well, how does it play? Because you can't get how it plays until you get the controller in your hand. So you kind of have, all you have to go on is like, how does it look and how does it sound, and possibly how does, like, you know, is the story compelling? So I think graphics play a huge role in making a good gaming experience.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree. I think graphics definitely do matter. Like, I think there's no, like, okay, so why would anyone care that there's going to be a PS5 upgrade of Final Fantasy VII Remake and like showing the comparisons if graphics don't matter, right? So it's like, I've played the game. I know how it plays. It's very fun. The gameplay is amazing. Do I need to play it?
Dope. Yeah, the gameplay is good.
Do I need to play it again? Yeah, I do. I need to see I need to see that door. I need to see that door fixed, right? I think graphics do matter. Are they the be all end all? No. So I see where you're coming from as well there, because like, if the graphics aren't particularly great, where I can go, come on, there's plenty of games out here at the moment that look way better than this. Does it mean that I won't play it at all then? No, it doesn't mean that either. And like, yeah, you can go back to older games and you're like, oh, well, the graphics here are clearly outdated. Does that now mean the game sucks because there's better graphics nowadays? No. And, you know, you also have to like take things as the words. Like, were the graphics good at their time? You know, you take some games and you go, no, they weren't even good at their time. But but you can still, you know, you still look at it and go, no, those polygons are terrible. But you can still just enjoy it because you're like, okay, it's doing other things, right? But I think just if you had to say, like, if it's a yes or no question, do graphics matter? Then yes, they do matter. They do matter.
But how much? Yeah.
How much do they matter? Like, how important are good graphics to a game? Like, one of the things we're seeing at the moment, I think, we're in a generation of a new console, 2 new consoles, where there's the whole selling point at the moment really is, like, there's a few new games, but a lot of the new games have been delayed. Like, a lot of them have been delayed to next year. A lot of them, we haven't even heard a release date of ones that are supposed to be coming this year. So of the new games that have come, like, there's kind of very few. So a lot of it is just, oh, play your older games in better graphics or better, you know, loading times or that kind of thing. That is actually the selling point of new consoles at the moment, because those new big games haven't actually hit the shelves yet. Arguably, I suppose, Resi Village might be the first big. Well, Hitman 3, I suppose, was one as well that a lot of people were looking forward to. But I imagine Resi Village is going to be one of the first big showcases where it's like, wow, this is actually the next gen, game.
Like that's another one for comparison. Is I think Resi 8 would have better graphics than Hitman 3. Because I played the first mission of Hitman 3, and the graphics are still really good.
Yeah.
The glistening and shining of that Dubai tower is amazingly. It almost slightly makes you a bit sick because you're like, no one should be this wealthy. These pillars are made out of solid gold. This is ridiculous. But that's a game where you kind of. So even though you'd have Resi 8 or something, or even arguably maybe even Demon's Souls would have better graphics.
Oh fuck yeah! Actually, sorry, yeah, that was a big one.
You could still look past it with Hitman 3 and be a bit more like, well, this is still the great game. Like, you poison someone's drink and then you watch.
Like, I mean, there's always going to be like, oh yeah, that one looks slightly better than this one. But you do come across the game sometimes where it's just like, oh, come on, like you should be way better now at this point.
What was that one? Werewolf Apocalypse Earthblood War?
Yeah.
Denizen or whatever the hell it's called. Yeah, that was one where it was like, the fuck, like this is PS. This is like early PS3 shit here, like.
But obviously graphics do matter because like the reception to Halo Infinite was purely just on the visual.
Well, the fact
regardless
that it got
of
delayed.
Like whatever the game, how it played or whatever. But that's what I mean. There's no way of us knowing how a game is going to feel and play. Is the gameplay any good? But I think you can kind of, based on previous Halos, you could say the gameplay is likely going to be good. So you already have a familiarity with it. So what's the new thing you're looking for? Well, the new thing then, if I'm getting a new console, is that it's going to be visually appealing. And it didn't seem to deliver on that end of it. So obviously graphics matter. To the wider public, graphics seem to matter.
Yeah, even if if it's not at the forefront of your mind, if it's not like the first thing you talk about, but actually it's like, oh wait, yeah, maybe that is do you know what always fucking drives me crazy? Actually, like I get why people like these kinds of games, but like World of Warcraft is an example, but there are plenty of others where like Blizzard will make the most amazing looking trailer. Or like or it used to happen for like Knights of the Old Republic, and the cinematics are incredible, and everyone is always like, check out the new trailer to this game, and straight away those are like big red tapes to me. I'm like, that game is nothing like that. That is not an actual
every Assassin's Creed trailer ever.
Every Assassin's Creed. But they are actually big selling points for people who's like, that looks incredible. Look how real that looks. Like, that's not the game.
Yeah.
That's not the game at all.
Yeah. Kind of one of the things where, like, if you are checking out graphics for a game, like, but the graphics are amazing. It's like it could still lead to the game being good, but we're now living in a time where it's kind of like if someone decides to go, yeah, but look at the size of that map. It's like,
right.
That doesn't mean it's good though. Like graphics, at least you can see and go, well, that does look impressive.
Yeah.
But just because the map is big, that doesn't mean it's good.
There's
a lot of shit that I don't even want to explore.
It just means your objectives are longer apart. There's a couple of towers to climb.
The size of Greece. I do not have the time of day to explore all of Greece.
Yeah, I can't. Like I've heard. I think I probably would enjoy. Like I've heard people sing praises for Valhalla, for example, right? And also a lot of people said a lot of great things about Odyssey in terms of Assassin's Creed. Now I haven't touched an Assassin's Creed since 2. So I'm well off the Assassin's Creed train. Like, other people know way more about the series than I do. But those are probably 2 games I probably would enjoy in terms of that series. But I'm like, I don't know if I have time to jump into that. That sounds ridiculous.
No, I haven't played. Now I haven't played Valhalla. But like Odyssey, visually is really pretty. The water is great. Like it's really stunning game. But no, Chris, I don't think you would enjoy playing that game. It's a very slow hack and slash game. like really having to trim down people's health, and then some other guys come along. You're like, I'm not even done with this guy, and he's like 2 levels lower than me. I don't get this. Here's this fucker coming around, and then you get kicked off a cliff, and you're like, I don't want any of this. I want Assassin's Creed.
It's become very apparent to me that other people seem to know my interests more than I do, because like even like my friends will say, there's a new game that I think you'd really like, or they'll be able to tell me, it's like, I don't think you'd like this game. Like they're all talking about like they enjoy it, and they'll be able to tell me, it's like, Chris, you wouldn't like it. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Same movies. They're like, oh, there's a movie that Chris, you'd really like it. I've seen I don't know. But anyway, do you know another good pointer that graphics really do matter nowadays is actually remakes, because look, like Resident Evil 2 remake, right? Now, yes, there's some gameplay changes, but ultimately it's the same game. It's the same experience really as the PS1 version. You know, it's the same plot. It's even split up, you know, and we've talked about that before, the two campaigns. Like, it's really, really close to the original. So why get it? Why play it again if you're someone that's played the original? Like, what's the appeal?
Well, the appeal is going to be the upgrade in the visuals, the upgrade in the game mechanics, the upgrade in the sound.
Absolutely, yeah, and all those things. And one of those, the first thing anyone would notice is, wow,
that looks amazing. That looks terrifying.
Right? Yeah, and the zombies look amazing, but they do. Yeah. So graphics obviously do matter. So, how much do graphics matter in terms of your own enjoyment of a game?
My own enjoyment of the game. Well, I think it's like, I think it does enhance the overall enjoyment, because you can't help but be in awe. You know, like it's not that I'm like, oh, this game sucks now because the animation's not great or everyone's blocky or whatever, because there's going to be something else that's going to make that game enjoyable. But you still, when you see the amount of like craftsmanship gone into some games, like you can't help but be in awe. And it's not just like being photorealistic. Like even games like, what was the one that was shown recently? It was like the guys that did the Hyper Light Drifter.
Remember something Ashes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Solar Ash, was it?
Was it
Solar Ashes or something like that?
I think that's it. Yeah, like that looks.
Yeah,
that
looks
looks incredible.
Cool.
So even like just down to your color palette and, you know, how things interact and like move and all that kind of stuff, like that's all plays into it as well. So that I think just really does enhance. Like when you're playing something like Journey and there's like you're sliding down, you can see the sun rays hitting the sand. You know, like geometric shape wise, it's quite simple, but there's a lot happening there that just makes you just like be in awe of the whole thing.
Yeah, that game makes sound look great. It makes it look not coarse and like it gets everywhere.
And same with God of War. Like every time you access Yggdrasil and there's like all the particle effects around you and stuff, like it really does just like, oh, that was awesome. Let's do that again. And you go to another place. Yeah, it does. I think it enhances the experience big time.
Eric, how much do graphics matter to you?
I mean, I do agree with Adam on the fact that graphics do improve. And again, like we're talking about how if you do get a remake, you are getting it for essentially the improvements in visuals is, again, the first thing you're going to notice. But I don't think like again what Adam's saying, if the graphics aren't the best, there's still going to be something else there you can enjoy. Like Mad Max, the game, didn't exactly have the best graphics at that time, but that was still an incredibly great game and actually felt quite faithful to the world of Mad Max.
Right.
So that was great. But then again, if you take Final Fantasy VII, and if just one moment that stood out to me was like when you're going through Sector 5 slums and you're going along and everything, and when you go around that corner and you see Aerith's house, it's just visually beautiful that it brought me to tears, like, you know.
How did the door feel though?
Yeah, probably tears for different reasons.
I don't know how. Played it, never noticed the door not being fully textured.
Kidding me? Oh man,
I
that door
never
drove me
noticed
crazy.
There's a lot of texture issues in that game, and I think it does kind of like,
Yep.
to some degree, you kind of go, oh man, he's almost had it like to
Oh, yeah.
perfection.
Nearly, yeah. Nearly. Absolutely. Like if you're knocking the game down a few points, yeah, there's some narrative points that you'd probably knock it down, or you're like, I didn't really like that particular section, or I didn't like the way that played out. But really, it's like those. I think those.
I think when we were
textures
rating it, we had to knock it down for graphics, didn't we?
You know, we never. There's only one game that we've officially rated on this podcast, and that was The Last of Us Part 2. We never went and rated anything else.
Oh, I see.
Maybe we should. It'd be fun, but anyway. But graphics is always one of our scoring points.
Yeah.
Well, it is important to immersing you. So if it comes to immersing you into the game, graphics are extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
That and soundtrack, but we're not talking about soundtrack today.
But I don't know how well. What's that game? Zorg, or is that what it's called? I don't know how well that would rate for us.
That's the one where you just type.
The fuck is Zorg?
It's just a typing game. Yeah.
Did any of you guys see? I mean, it must be a fucking joke. Did you see? Video Game Donkey. He had out a new video called "The Typing of the Dead," and he was talking. He was doing like a review for a game, which was like the guys who made House of the Dead 2 brought out a new version of it, which is much better, called Typing of the Dead. And in the arcade, there's 2 keyboards at the fucking game, like, and to kill the zombie, there's like words that come up on the zombie, and you have to type that before the zombie gets to you to shoot it instead of using light guns. Watch that video, it's fucking gas. The Typing of the Dead, everyone, by Video Game Donkey.
It's Zork.
Zork. What the fuck is Zork?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Zork was a game. What was it on? Let's see.
Well, it was on Black Ops. I know that much.
Oh, so it was on the Commodore
yeah.
Commodore 64 and stuff. But yeah, you could in Black Ops you could get out of your chair, and you could go and this was like in the menu system, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like in the menu. Yeah. If you press L2 and R2 or something like that, you like wiggle out of your chair, get out of your chair, go over to the computer, and you could play Zork. And I remember being in Brian's trying to play this. We're trying to get pretty far in it, but all it is just black screen and text, just white text, and you just type in, like, it's a choose your own adventure.
Oh game. Yeah, right, yeah.
So in terms of visuals and sound, it's like this.
It's not immersive at all. Yeah.
I don't know how you would rate that, but
well, in terms of right. So I kind of I agree with everything that's been said, really, but so that's me done. No, I'm joking. The like, how much do graphics matter? If the game is trying to like immerse you into like some kind of world or characters or something like that, I actually think it's very important. So long as the game stays consistent. So, for example, like I would say Journey has fantastic graphics. It has its own art style and it stays consistent throughout, and it works that way. It's very, very different to, say, Red Dead Redemption 2, which has incredible graphics, but that's trying to be very realistic, and it's not like some crazy art style. And that also stays incredibly consistent the whole way through. You know, I think like one of the big issues that people ended up having with Cyberpunk, for example, was that it was a game that could not stay up to its own standards in terms of graphics because of those bugs and those crashes. That when it happens, like say if that game didn't look as beautiful as its best scenes, right? But it remained like that the whole way through. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would probably rate it fairly highly, even if it doesn't look like the best game ever. It would just be like, yeah, I had no problems with it. Yeah, it looked, you know, it all looked fine and it played well, and I love the story and the characters or whatever. But as soon as you're broken out of the immersion at all, suddenly it's like, man, the fucking graphical issues with this game, like I could go on for fucking ever, you know, about how much it broke me out of the immersion of trying to role play in this thing that just kept fucking T-posing as I'm trying to fucking drive down the road or something, right? So I think like in that case it's very important. But if the game is not trying to immerse you into something, like I never sat back playing Temple Run on my phone and was like, if only these graphics were better,
Yeah.
I'd get really into collecting these fucking coins. So I think like so.
I just don't feel like a
yeah.
coin collector.
I'm not afraid of these apes, you know, whatever the fuck they are. Are they apes?
I don't know.
I used to play that loads.
so.
Like I used to spend my lunch breaks playing Temple Run because it was like, it's just a quick,
everyone
easy
around
game.
me did. I never really got into it, but yeah,
an
everyone around
addictive
me.
game.
Yeah, well, I played that one rather
good,
than
though.
Angry Birds
looked
or
fun.
Flappy Bird.
Oh, that was so stupid. Was there? There was loads of different versions of that as well. Flappy Bird.
Oh yeah,
No, Angry Birds. There was different versions. Or you
No.
mean copies of Flappy Bird?
Yeah, Flappy Bird.
Yeah, there was one which I'm not gonna say because we could end up getting demonetized. So
We're not monetized.
We're not even monetized to get
Well,
demonetized.
Are you kidding me?
the Russians might decide to. I don't know. So I'm not gonna mention it.
Sorry, what was it? Flappy Sputnik? What the fuck? Anyway, very curious what it could have been. But yeah, so in that case, I'm like, how much do graphics matter? It does depend on the game. It's not the be all end all for me, but I do rate it pretty highly. Like it is would be pretty important to me. But I think I'd be very biased if I was like, no, it has to be the best graphics ever.
But I do think,
because Final Fantasy VII, the original,
it's pretty rough.
like it's
Even
my
back then
favorite
it was
game.
pretty rough.
Even for its time, because 1 year later is Metal Gear Solid. It's
Yeah.
not a huge jump. So some of the graphics in that game are great. Some of them are fantastic. But some of them not so much. So,
but I do think the graphics as well is like it's like a representation of its time. Like you can tell a PS1 N64 era game, you can tell one that's like GameCube, PS2, Xbox, and you can tell each era. But there's a few games, especially during the PS3 era, where you're kind of like this almost sometimes looks like a PS2 game, or similar in PS4 era. Just like some of this looks like it could have been on the PS3. It's like, why do I need? I guess some of it becomes down to like, okay, why did I need this new console if I could have played this on the previous one?
I always feel a bit like that, and it kind of goes against what we were saying earlier. And in some ways, I think I'm being like, I feel bad sometimes being in any way critical about this stuff because I can't, I don't know how to fucking make this shit, right? So I'm like, try to get me to do any of
the other stuff to it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit fucking like, well, you try fucking make a game then. But sometimes I do get a bit when they do a showcase for a brand new console, and often they show these kind of really artsy looking games, and yes, they look fantastic. But at the same time, sometimes I look at those and I go, this is not a good showcase for the capabilities of the new console. I kind of felt that way. I remember like when we were watching like PlayStation and the Xbox showcases just before the consoles are coming out. Things like the Pathless, for example, or stuff like that, where it's like it looks great. But
you can get the Pathless on your phone.
Of the capabilities. You can get it on your phone.
Yeah, the Pathless is available on the App Store. I think you can get it for the Switch as well. So I think that is a good indication. It's like, okay, so why do I need this new console?
Why did we need it?
There's very few reasons, I guess.
Talk about it.
Well, I think for us at least, it's like, similar to why we got a PS3. Right? We got a PS3 because we just knew that the next Metal Gear Solid was going to be on it.
Right.
We just so happens that there was other fucking amazing games that also came out on that platform.
Along the way, yeah.
And I imagine that's why people may get the next Xbox too. Is like they just know the next Halo is going to be on the machine.
Yeah.
Right. So you get the platform that you just know down the line. So, why would I want the PS5? Well, the next Final Fantasy is going to be on it.
Yeah.
It might be on the other system. I don't know, but it will 100% be on this one.
Yeah.
So that's why I get it.
It will surely look better on this one, right? So graphics do better. What's
Love got to do with it. Got to do with it. What's love? Yeah.
We should definitely start a band. No, the
Barbershop Quartet.
I was
my
actually
friend.
thinking about this earlier. In terms of like a game staying like consistent in terms of its graphics. So like we're like talking about like if you look at older games and you can take it like, well, for its time this is pretty good, but then you can look at some older games you go, even for its time this is bad, or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was playing some Mortal Kombat 11 today, right? I was able to get the PS5 upgrade, and I was like, wow, this looks fantastic. Actually, it's really, really good. And but there's a map on it. It must have been one of the DLC maps or something like that, and it's called the Retro Arcade or something like that, right? And so you can fight on that, and there's a projections of like the original game backgrounds behind you, but you're still the new graphics. And I sounded cool, but fuck me, it's jarring because you're looking at it, right? And like obviously I've seen footage of like the original Mortal Kombat game before,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, that's fine, cool. Look at what they were able to do for their time. But when you can see like the new graphics, and then the little like strange like 2D people moving up and down in the background, like just when you see them beside each other, I was like, fucking hell.
That's like the secret rooms in Doom.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you go into them, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
There's like 2D barrels.
And like
I used to love some of the tricks they did with that. Like with that one, like the barrels were a 2D sprite, but as you walk around it, the sprite rotates.
Oh, genius.
So that it constantly look like you're going around it, I guess. It'll make it look like it's rounded, but it's just a flat sprite moving like this with the camera.
What's a game that you've played, if you can think of one, where at its time or for its time you're like, no, these graphics are not good, and you feel like if the graphics are better, it might have helped the game along a bit?
Say that again? A game that's
a lot. No, I said a lot. What's a game that you played that even at its time, even at the time, you were like, no, these graphics are bad. And actually, if the graphics were good, it actually would have improved the game somewhat. Like it actually would have had an effect on the quality of the game.
I had a theory on what Adam was going to say, but the fact that he's taking his time, I'm now kind of.
I'd love to know
dropping.
What you think though, Eric, rather than let's all guess what Adam.
I don't know. I just
that's all I think is what matters, Chris.
Yeah.
We all wait to see what Adam says and then join the consensus. It's like, hey, was the Snyder Cut good? You tell us, and then we'll.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it was great.
It was good. It was good, guys.
Well,
I mean, he's the only guy who knows what the hell he's talking about right now.
Did you hear that story about the fucking sprite? This guy knows his shit. This guy knows his shit. That was amazing.
A game that would have been better if the graphics. I don't know. I only ever play good games, Chris. So I don't know.
What? Fucking hell.
Oh, he's gonna say something, and now I'm gonna agree with him.
I have one, but
yeah,
like the game is still kind of good, but I think it certainly could have been better. But I don't know whether it's held back by the platform, and that is Twilight Princess.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think Twilight Princess could have, because they had like this. They were certainly going for a slightly darker approach, but overall, I felt that the whole visual was so blurry and muddy that it just nothing looked nice in it, like at all. There was like a haze to everything, and yeah, it was constantly like as if you're just looking at like this squinty eyes the whole time.
It was kind of boring looking, wasn't it?
Yeah, like coming off of Wind Waker, absolutely, because Wind Waker had such a unique art style, and it was a gorgeous game.
In truth, I would prefer Twilight Princess in concept, and I know like the artwork on the cover of Twilight Princess is fucking awesome. It's kind of never-ending story-esque kind of shit. And if it was more like that, it actually, do you know what? That's a game that if someone ever decided to, if a studio decided to like remake it, I think it could be incredible with like modern.
They did do a HD remaster for the Wii U, and it's like, oh, for fuck's, like, just bring it to the Switch. Why?
Yeah.
Stranded on that console.
Just that's Switch,
man.
that wouldn't be. I actually think like a solid remake where you could actually bring out some of the vibrancy of nature and stuff as well in it, and
Yeah,
you know,
it is
like
quite muddy.
those dark shadows would be darker again if you have brighter stuff to contrast with it. Like I find one of the things like okay, Lord of the Rings trilogy, we bring it up a lot, best trilogy ever.
Yeah,
You know, greatest movies ever made, and
There they
you
are
know,
in the background there.
actually, yeah, they are. They're there. And this year is the 20th anniversary. It's actually the year of the Ring. It's the 20th anniversary of Fellowship of the Ring. So at some point on this podcast, we'll have to talk about Fellowship. But in that movie, I always find that in that first movie is the movie where Mordor are at their scariest. Even though you don't really fight them yet, they are at their scariest. And the reason for that is because the Shire is so beautiful. It's so green and so lush that when we start getting images of like, especially like that scene where Frodo looks into the mirror and he sees what the Shire could become under Mordor, and it's like that's fucking scary and dark as shit. So I always find like in fairy tales you need like, it worked as well in God of War when like you're walking through that, you know, when you're carrying Atreus and you get to like the tree and the turtle comes up and everything's fucking beautiful. So later on when shit's dark and gritty, I don't know. The contrast works better. Like a Twilight Princess remake with more vibrant nature colors would be fucking cool.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild engine on that, man. Holy shit.
Oh man,
that'd be savage.
that'd be great.
That'd be nice.
I do think that that's one because I think you're right. Like the overall tone, and especially from the cover as well.
Yeah.
And when you put the disc in and you load it up, you go, "The fuck is this?" It's a good game though. It is a good game,
good.
but I think visuals definitely could have been better.
Eric, what do you think? Have you got a game from the past that,
Yeah.
or have you got none?
Now, well, I have a few, like, you know, I'd have a few games where I'm like, you know, this would be awesome if this would be even better if the graphics were better. Like, I enjoyed Spec Ops: The Line, but I think if the graphics for that were a tad bit better, that would be class.
I had a similar thing as well, where it's like slightly hazy.
Yeah.
Not everything's clear, and it's,
I think they were almost trying to go for that hazy effect, as almost like everything is being scorched by the sun. You know, when you're looking at like a hot road and you see that almost fog
kind
effect,
of mirage kind of shit.
Yeah, I think they might have been going for that, but yeah,
that's the scientific term, by the way.
Oh, is it mirage? Okay,
mirage shit.
Mirage shit.
It's actually named after the German doctor Marazi Shit who discovered that effect.
All right, yeah, there you go, guys. Some history lesson right there. But I think another game right now. This game is so good, but could you imagine it with photorealistic graphics? Now, of course, there are versions of this game on a particular gaming platform where it does have the like.
Get your fucking shots ready, folks.
You called it, Chris. Could you imagine if Skyrim on the PS3 or PS4 had photorealistic graphics? That would have.
Well, you could get amazing graphics with that.
Do you know what?
The mod scene
exactly
for that.
Mods.
But even actually in saying that, like I know, like there's an element of joking as well. Like, and we've talked about Skyrim a lot, but like if the graphics were better, yes, that game would be better again. You're right. Like it actually would, because like the exploration.
I don't think anyone would go, here, they improved the graphics.
No, of course you wouldn't. No, like the exploration is what makes that game. So if you could explore that world looking even better, fuck yeah.
What's the moon called in that? Nirn or something like that? Is it, or...
The world is Nirn, yeah.
Oh yeah, what's the moon in it called? Because like in some of the shots where you're just walking and you can see the fucking giant moon just there, and the kind of aurora looking spectral colors across the sky, just looks.
Especially
awesome.
when you're up in the north. Yeah.
I mean, I have modded it on the PS4, and it does look great when you start. Even though like the graphics aren't being like pumped up, just when you add that crystal clear water and the lush grass and everything, it's just like this looks great.
You can turn it into like a completely different game on PC.
I also actually modded. Now Fallout 4 actually is one where the graphics are really good, but it's almost everything else lacks.
Right.
Otherwise, the graphics and gameplay are really good.
That's in the opposite direction.
But it's the story, the layout of the story is just like, not great. But I actually modded that on PS4 as well, where I made a very verdant green and lush. So even
Yeah.
though it's supposed to be this post-apocalyptic nuclear wasteland, I was like, nah, it's dull and drabby. Let's add some grass and trees. And I was like, yes, now I'm in The Last of Us. This is class.
Deadly.
Because it's just adding grass and trees everywhere.
I was one of the games that came to my mind. I can't help but think of the PS3 era as an era where there was some incredible looking games that were the best thing you've ever seen at that point. But there was games where you're like, this is not up to standard. Like, it's really not up to and regardless of like being a smaller studio or not, like some of them was like, no, there was actually probably a lot of money behind this. This is not one that came to mind. But then I was like, that doesn't really fit this topic because we're trying to say that like the graphics being better would have helped it along. But like I was thinking of like the Lost game, and that needed a lot more than the graphics to help that along. Like that's not that.
Yeah.
That needed a lot. But another game that I do enjoy, and that I did enjoy playing it, and I've enjoyed it pretty much every time I've played it, even though I would rank it as kind of like the not the best in its series, but if it had better graphics, I think it would help it along quite a bit. And that's Arkham Origins.
Yeah, that's
like-
weird how that ended up looking. It
Like, it
does
looks-
look different than City.
It looks worse than City.
Yeah.
And there's really no reason for it because WB Montreal, like they were backed by WB Games, so like they had the budget for sure, and they were given a lot of the assets from Arkham City to build that map. And so the thing is, like a lot of the character models in it looked fine, and it played really well, and like some of the gadgets and gizmos that they added were fucking great. That they even brought forward into Arkham Knight, but the fucking map looks awful. Looks
It's
awful. It's so bland.
Is it higher though? I always got the sense that they were like trying to get the sense of height where you couldn't see far down.
There's another island, I suppose, that's not the island that becomes Arkham City, and that island is supposed to be like richer, and so there is taller buildings on that one. But I don't think there's a single building in that game that's as tall as any of the buildings in Arkham Knight, for example.
And none of the buildings look unique either. They just look
Not
like
really.
a big cardboard cutout kind of thing.
Yeah, you're right. And there's that one hotel that looks really good, and
Yeah.
there's quite a chunk of the game that you play there. But other than that, everything looks really kind of cardboardy is a really good like way of looking at it, where it just kind of looks like a pop-up book or something, or like a cutout. And it was another one where there was lots of texture problems, right?
Yeah.
That could like it's a game that I felt like never got an update that possibly needed one. Now maybe it didn't sell enough to even warrant the support or something like that. I don't know. But like I think it's a good game. It gets an unreasonable amount of hate. I've even noticed people who just like they're like, oh, Arkham Origins sucks. They've never played it, but they've just because it's the one that Rockstar
it's just,
make.
yeah. Well,
And,
it's the general consensus, isn't it? It's like,
the
well,
general consensus
that
is
person
it
over
sucks.
there said it sucked.
Yeah, it's
So,
but like and there is problems with it. I'm not saying there isn't, but
Yeah.
I actually think it's a really good game. And it would have been helped along by like the fact that it doesn't look as good as its predecessor, and yet it is a newer game. It did make me, even playing it, I was like, why does this look weird? Like, why? Like, this is. I hated flying around that map at all. Like, the only
Yeah,
missions
just-
I
it wasn't
enjoyed were being
enjoyable.
indoors. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
actual exploration sucked.
Yeah. Well, like when I was playing Arkham City relatively recently. I think again that was a couple of months ago, probably start of the third lockdown. Flying around Arkham City was annoying as fuck. So I'm only thinking like, can you imagine when you had to fly around 2 islands at the same size?
Yeah, it's the
You keep on
bridge
go
part.
across that fucking bridge.
The
Yeah,
bridge
it's-
is just not a good way to get across,
No.
to join up 2 islands. And Arkham Origins, it didn't need a bigger island. It just needed
Well, it was coming.
more exploration.
It
you know
came
what I
out at that point, I suppose, where the size of your map did matter. It was
Yeah,
like it was so.
Bigger map.
It's like it was weird because what they'd done with Batman Arkham was it was like at that point their biggest competitor was Assassin's Creed, rather than them kind of putting it in the same. Like I always put the Arkham games, especially with Asylum and City. I was kind of putting them in a similar boat to like Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear, yeah.
That was what I thought it was like the next Metal Gear, and you're playing as Batman, you know. But yeah, to try and go well, it's actually the next like Assassin's Creed. I was like, I don't see that at all. That's weird. So trying to do like this, like getting to the tops of towers and stuff to open more of the map and stuff. I'm like, that's fucking weird. What are you doing?
But they had a fast travel system in that game as well, Arkham Origins, which took longer than if you just flew there. If you glided to the location,
the loading
took
took longer
faster than you just zipping. Yeah.
That's a lot of games that era and PS4, Xbox One era. That happened a lot. Like with Spider-Man, even you could pretty much you could swing to the area quicker than you could just ride the train.
Yeah. But like it's
loading issue.
It's saying that's like, if they brought out, I'm actually kind of, I was a little bit raging that they never did a remaster of Origins. I would get it.
Yeah,
so I'm not even writing that game off.
That wasn't in Return to Arkham.
Yeah, I think it should have been. It's kind of a shame. Like, I'm not even writing that game off. If there was a remaster, I'd love to see it remastered because I think it could look better, you know. And there's some good stuff in there. So
it is really annoying because even in Arkham Knight they reference.
Like they reference some of the events, yeah.
Yeah, because they give you the gizmos, and then I think they talk about maybe one or two events that happens, and even Firefly is in Arkham Knight, and he talks about when you left him on the bridge at essentially the end of Origins. Like, so it's a bit like, well, why wouldn't you include that? It's very clearly
It's so weird that they didn't. Like, it's just
bonkers. It feels like they're like, yeah, we're kind of embarrassed by it or something. And I'm like, it's not terrible. Like, it's not a bad game.
Yeah, you know, it's the worst Arkham game.
Yeah,
but like in saying that, it's like that's like saying, I don't know, if people considered Drake's Fortune the worst Uncharted, maybe it's like
right. Or
it's
like
still a fucking top tier game. Like
to me, it's like, and I'm not saying it's as good as this game, but to me, it's like saying, you know, it's like, oh, well, Metal Gear Solid 2 is like the worst of the first 4 Metal Gear Solid games, right? Yeah. And it's like, it's still one of the best fucking games you're ever going to play, like, you know. So
I mean, first 4. I mean, the only 4 Metal Gear Solid games.
Well, yeah, you see,
there was Peace Walker, wasn't there? Peace Walker, I think. So.
Yeah, I think, and then Portable Ops actually, I would even include.
And I think there was Portable Ops 2, and Metal Gear Acid.
Metal Gear Acid 2.
That's why you're naming them. I always preferred Portable Ops to Peace Walker.
You clearly haven't played enough Portable Ops. But the premise is quite similar.
Oh, but yeah, no, what it was some of the stuff that was happening in it was more familiar to me, though, that it could lead to. So like young Roy Campbell was in it and stuff, and I was like, that makes sense because he's obviously going to become Foxhound or whatever.
Yeah.
And then playing Peace Walker and you get all this Diamond Dog shit and stuff, and I'm like, what? Where does this all go? Like, it becomes
that wasn't Diamond Dogs. That was Military Sans Frontier. Military without borders, Soldiers Without Borders or something like that. Those are actually 2 games that honestly, if you kind of fucking not just remade them to have better graphics and better gameplay and better cinematics.
Peace Walker.
Well, Peace Walker and Portable Ops, because
I see Portable Ops has been kind of written off, hasn't it?
Yeah, Portable Ops is not. I don't know if that's considered canon. I think it's
not anymore. I don't think.
Oh, okay. Well,
and Peace Walker is like the, you know, Jack's Chinese tattoo episode of Metal Gear Solid anyway.
So what's Phantom Pain?
Wow.
Oh, that's where they end up in the church.
yeah, absolutely. I'm rewatching Lost, actually. I think that's why the Lost video game came into my head. I'm on season 4 now, but there's a couple of episodes because I remember from watching them before. Yeah. There's a couple of episodes that I've just skipped where I'm like, genuinely don't need this one. Like, it's not like I haven't missed anything. And the Jack's tattoos on was one of them. As soon as it started and I saw him with the kite on the beach, I was like, yep, nope, we don't need this one. And like Ash was watching along with me, and she was like, "But what if I won't get what's going on the next?" I was like, "No, trust me, you'll be fine. Yeah, you don't need this one." You know.
Yeah, because they always do it previously on anyway, so.
Yeah, they'll catch you up.
It's like takes up half the episode, doesn't it?
No, it's not that bad. That's ridiculous. Okay, What game do you think has the best graphics you've ever experienced?
Okay, well that's a bit weird because like
fucker.
obviously
Just throw it at it.
every generation, sure, you get a fucking new game that looks the best.
Yeah,
thing ever.
like don't worry, this won't be held against you forever. Like I might ask you again next week.
Oh, Jesus. Fucking hate you.
You would imagine this is one that will hopefully change.
Best.
So it's like
you
today.
You won't say like it's not gonna be Spec Ops, is it?
Spec Ops The Line? No, it's not Spec Ops The Line. No.
No, I'll always back up the line.
Good game though. Good game.
Yeah, good game.
Game.
I'm half tempted because I was just thinking about it. I was just thinking about it the other day, and I was thinking, Jesus, we had some good crack when I brought that up. And considering it's a phone game, Infinity Blade has got some fucking savage graphics.
You know what? For a phone game, it fucking does. It does.
Oh, there's a game that I just came across on Twitter there recently. Shuhei Yoshida posted this up. It's called Fantasian.
Dude, I shared that with you ages ago.
Oh, did you?
I shared that too.
The guy who originally created Hironobu Sakaguchi.
All right.
The guy who originally created Final Fantasy. The last game he ever worked on was Final Fantasy VI, is making that game. And it's actually most of the crew who worked on Final Fantasy VI making it. And Nobuo Uematsu is doing the music. Have I taken the right one? And all the maps are dioramas?
Yes, that is it, yeah.
Yeah. It looks
the graphics to that.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
good.
That is fucking cool. But it's such a cool idea as well. They actually made all the little maps and then just like filmed it and then just stuck it into like a fucking, I don't know how shit works. I get blown away by graphics. Like I play games, I stop, I look at puddles. I did it today actually in a fighting game. And I was like, look at that puddle. Look at that fucking puddle.
Look at that boulder. That is a nice boulder.
Ash is usually sitting with me and going, who cares? I care. I want the world to know I care how it looks. I think it's amazing.
Actually, speaking of puddles, playing Demon's Souls on your TV, Chris.
Wow.
Like, I was like, the graphics are good, but I was like, oh my god, I need this TV. Not just a TV like it. I need this particular TV.
I think that's important.
I'm taking it home.
Like,
I'll give
you playing it on as well.
What are you playing?
And it's almost similar to like, if you're watching a movie, the better your sound system, the more impressive the movie's going to be.
Oh, absolutely. It's like, when all the musicians were getting kind of like, there was a whole documentary on it and there was loads of different artists involved, but when there was kind of a whole thing about highlighting how shitty it is that people were listening to their music on YouTube as their primary music listening service.
A shitty laptop speaker.
Yeah, or even just on their phone and on the toilet, and they're just like, like, I have put so much work into like even like these tiny little synths and strings that are in the background that you like
that have
they
been compressed
so
out.
much, and you're not even fucking hearing it. Like, it's like I remember the first time I heard that one note that plays in One Step Closer.
Oh yeah.
You know that plays the whole way through?
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, I never heard that before, because I was like, I used to listen on like a disc Walkman. That's right. I have a story that now sounds like I'm kind of old.
Discman?
Yeah, so I used to put the disc in and I had little shitty, like the shittiest headphones ever. Like they came off some crappy phone and walk around town with that, with one mix CD that had been burnt off. Like I wasn't listening to album CD either. So like it was fucking terrible. So I had never heard that one note.
No.
And it makes a huge difference.
It does. It does. Well, they don't put it in there for the laugh, do they?
I was listening to some Slipknot yesterday.
Oh,
that's very different. But there were some songs. There was Unsainted.
Yeah.
First time I ever heard that, and I was like, "This is really good. I like this."
Heard Unsainted?
I never heard it. At least I don't recognize ever hearing the song Unsainted.
Oh man, go listen to Spiders. You'll love it.
Yeah, as far as
You'll fucking love it.
But the best song not on that album.
Yeah, which the album is named after, which apparently is a Pink Floyd joke.
Yeah.
Or it's an artist's in joke or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
We Are Not Your Kind?
Yeah, it's a good song.
What's it called? All Out Life? Yeah. fucking
That's
great.
my favorite song not on the album.
That's not on that album. It's a great fucking song.
It is a
Um,
great song.
What were we talking about?
Well,
graphics.
my
Fantasia looks great,
what
yeah.
I think is the best graphics. I
Yeah.
think maybe Red Dead 2.
Mm.
Like it probably isn't. Like technically, Last of Us 2 would be better than it, but there's just something about like, just standing there in your camp and looking around you, just how good everything looks.
Mm.
If you get really up close to everything, you can kind of see
Yeah.
textures are a
But-
bit muddy, but
Considering, again, bringing maps in this, considering the size of it and everything they're rendering,
Yeah.
everything it's
and
like,
I think you can alter the time as well in that through photo mode. Can you do that? I can't remember, but it looks like, oh yeah, that game just looks so fucking good. I know you can tweak the HDR settings in it, and you can get like a film grain look and stuff. It makes it look fucking
nice.
cinematic and shit. That's a really great looking game, and I think that one's always really blown me away graphically. I never really liked the game though. I never liked playing it, but I like loading it up and just having a look at it.
Rocksteady have come a long way in terms of graphics. Like I was even blown away by it. It's not the best graphics I've ever experienced, but I was blown away by. I only started last year, Grand Theft Auto 5. I was really late on that train, and that's like then I found out that came out in like 2013, which is actually the same year as Arkham Origins was out. So just there's a comparison. Graphics in it are incredible for its time. Like I know
Yeah, that was
okay,
the game.
The
that
one
was
I'm
the
playing
game
is a
with
PS4 remaster, but
Yeah,
you know.
that's the game that Kojima, when he saw that, he was like, "Oh fuck," because he was making
why?
they were making the Fox engine at the time, and they thought that they were going to be doing something like really like groundbreaking,
Oh,
like
and then
cross
Rocksteady.
generational game engine.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's going to be on PS3, 360, and then across onto PS4 and Xbox One. And then he saw GTA, and it's like, wow, okay.
Yeah, it looks great.
Basically got there before him, like,
Yeah. Do they have their own engine then, Rocksteady?
Oh
What are they
yeah,
using?
yeah. Well, it's
I
just their
didn't know
in-house, or their own in-house engine. I don't know if they have a name,
Name
on
on
it.
it?
Maybe they do. Let's find out.
But they don't want to share it with anyone.
There's
They look
actually
great.
that's a game that actually I was blown away by just through look at this. This is a game now where I'm
Rage.
Sorry, what?
It's called Rage.
Rage, yeah.
Rockstar Advanced Game Engine.
Amazing. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
But speaking about Kojima, one game that I was blown away by just looking at it through like gameplay trailers and all that sort of stuff. And then when I was playing it, I was like, yes, I want to go here if there wasn't killer ghosts.
Right, yeah.
Was Death Stranding. Like the first area to Death Stranding
Yeah,
is absolute. It's like this.
You can.
I hope.
Is that in Iceland?
It's basically Iceland, yeah.
Yeah, I want to go to Iceland because of that game.
Wow.
And then just there was another part I was walking across this desert area and I was like, I've never been to Mars, but I'd imagine this is what it looks like. It's really red, it's really barren, and I like it.
Yeah, I just love games where it takes that moment where you're like, I've been transported somewhere just by playing it. Like that's so cool.
Death Stranding, very strangely enough, is a game where I'm like, I don't want combat in this. I just want to walk.
Yeah,
Right?
it
Amazing.
very much is that. It's like, if you're in it for some sort of action, that's like, like there is action, but that's like the worst part of it.
That's kind of funny then. That like I heard a lot of complaints about the game was like it's a walking simulator, and like my response to that would be and. It's like, I fucking love walking simulators.
It's a walking simulator to like music. Ugh.
I am in. Are you kidding me? Yeah, the thing that actually put me off was that I saw the combat, and actually that kind of put me off wanting to play the game, to be honest. Because
I pretty much like I did some of the encounters, just because why not? Just to get a sense of it.
Sure, yeah.
But after that, I pretty much avoided. You can avoid them. You don't even have to go anywhere near them, and you can get through the whole game without an encounter, pretty much.
I must give it a go then, because like I would like to see those visuals.
Yeah,
and stuff.
even if you're like not interested in clearing it, but it's such a nice game to just walk in.
Yeah.
I mean, bringing like another YouTuber in, Girlfriend Reviews does an absolutely beautiful review of Death Stranding.
Yeah, it is.
They are some of the. I mean, well, first of all, that channel.
They're
If you're
top
someone who's
tier
into
reviewers.
games, you're listening to us and you're not like subscribed to them, go subscribe to them. subscribe to us too, but go subscribe to them because they make fantastic content. Like they're so good.
Yeah.
That one complaint I do have with Death Stranding is that you're not able to play music whenever you want, whenever you're walking around.
You know?
I couldn't find any way of doing it.
No.
I think you might have to collect tracks or something like that, kind of similar.
But then I suppose
I know you do that, and you can listen to them when you're in your room. But I'm like,
I thought you could do it in game.
But I suppose you could just throw on your Spotify app, couldn't you? Like you could literally put on the Death Stranding soundtrack and
Could do.
you know what I mean on Spotify and as you're walking around. I know it's not in game, but
yeah,
you know.
it just adds so much emotional weight when you're like walking around and music starts playing, and somehow it just matches the tone of what you're going through at that particular moment.
Yeah.
Like there's one moment I was up on top of a snowy mountain, and I had to get down, and I was like, oh, I got my little weird floating skateboard thingy. I can just skateboard down. And as I started to do that, it started to play this like really like cheerful song. Like things were starting to look, and I was like, this is class. This is so upbeat right now. But at like another moment, I was like trudging up the snowy mountain, and like the snow area is fucking hell to walk. It's just brutal. And I was trudging up it, and I was playing this really like sorrowful music, and I was like, fucking get up there. Kind of like again like Journey when you're going up at the end of that.
Yeah.
The music gives you like a sense of what he's thinking or what he's going through or something like that, you know.
Yeah. Are they the best graphics you've ever seen in a game so far to this date? On this day that we're talking right now?
No.
What would be?
Oh.
No, Mr. Superman, no here, no.
Oh, why do you have to ask me these sort of questions?
Like, I do it every week. It shouldn't be a surprise to you. What's
I
your
know.
favorite pair of socks?
I don't even have an answer for that question.
Alright.
Best graphics I've probably ever seen would be probably something like Uncharted 4 or Red Dead 2 or even God of War 4.
I mean, all those are up there. Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4 blows my mind actually graphically every single time. It's fucking amazing.
The Order 1886 really holds up.
Yeah.
Like, if you looked at that, you'd swear that's a
but like
current gen game.
That's just, it's not fair for every other game if you bring the Order 1886 into it, because there's still just that one scene.
That's
in the
an
bar.
interesting game to talk about in this particular one, though. Actually,
It's
because that's a
definitely
game
more
where the
visuals.
graphics are incredible,
Yeah.
and nobody even wants to talk about the game.
I
on
mean,
any- on
the
any merit.
gameplay is not the best thing ever, but
Yeah.
certainly the visuals are whoa.
But, like, is the gameplay in that worse than like? Okay, it's not the best gameplay. Is it awful? I don't think it's
I
awful.
don't think it's awful. No, I
Yeah.
think it's fine. Like, it's playable.
Yeah.
It's not really innovative.
You're not playing
It-
for the gameplay, basically. That's something.
Gameplay is not innovative. It's a lot of like the cover shooter. It's a very Gears of War style cover shooter. There's a bit of
But like, for example, how many
wall
people
scaling.
play the Walking Dead games for the gameplay? You know.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
I guess, like, some
it's
people might not be
interesting.
into the story, but like I'm
Yeah.
all about that. That story is like
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
like knights of the round fighting off vampires and werewolves. Fuck yeah. This is Van
cool.
Helsing the game.
Yeah, Van Helsing's pretty cool.
It's really disappointing that it's not going to be another one.
Mm.
Yeah, that is very disappointing. But yeah, in terms of graphics, like that shit, look.
It was great.
That there's this one shot where you go into a bar and it's just a close up of a bottle, and it's like, that's real, right? There's no way that's graphics. That's a photo. They just took a photo and put it in there. That is ridiculous.
I haven't played enough of Red Dead 2. I do hear that one crop up a lot. I played a little bit of it and I was super impressed by it. But in terms of what I've experienced, The Last of Us Part 2 is definitely the best graphics I've ever seen. Like, that game is fucking... And, we've done episodes on that. We talked about it and rated it. And I know that the graphics, I either rated it a 9 or a 10. But,
Yeah.
like, there's no going lower than that for me anyway, because it's fucking stunning. It's so fucking good looking. I remember walking through on a horse bushes or something like that, you know, in that little forest. I remember that moment, and I had to pause and put it down and go, "This is unbelievable." Like, as in the game, purely on the graphics. And you know, like, yeah, later on, okay, some things happen in the story that I'm not too crazy about, but I still, to this day, the graphics are unreal. So fucking good.
Yeah.
The fucking detail on the fingers, on Joe's fingers playing the guitar. Are you kidding me? Those are real fingernails. Are you kidding me?
I do find out that wasn't as much of like, cause that's kind of like the end of the era of that console nearly. I know like Ghost of Tsushima is, but you know what I mean. Like it's like that's the poster child for like what the machine can do, and it didn't have as much visually as much of an impact as like the previous gen or gen before that. For me, it's almost as if they really cracked the code of the PS4 quite early on. That I feel like in the mid cycle, all games were looking pretty fucking good on that console.
Yeah, they were looking great.
Because even Uncharted 4 looks amazing.
Oh, it looks fucking unreal. But even I've always felt that Arkham Knight looked incredible, and to this day it looks incredible.
Yeah,
it looks that game. Yeah, whatever about the Batmobile and stuff, and yeah, there's lots of gameplay.
Just the rain on
his cape. That game looks incredible, and like the no load times and I've never experienced a bug playing that game. And you know, if you go back to which games you've played, put the most amount of hours into, I think Arkham Knight was my number one.
Probably, yeah.
I've played it a lot.
Yeah.
It was one of them anyway. It was definitely up there. But I've never experienced bugs in that game. Like it's always been consistent. It looks great. Can't say the same for people who played on PC. But
that's unusual.
Yeah.
But Ghost of Tsushima is like just the kind of end of like the just wow.
It's like cherry on the cake, isn't it? It's like
wow.
And anytime you see that moonlight or just those vivid colors, and you're just like, this is just unbelievable.
Yeah. I think it's when you enter one of those forests that like the Golden Forest or something. You're like, this can't be real because it's not. Where's the green? Because obviously we're in Ireland, we're only used to green trees. Like, so
that's quite nice actually. Though it's almost like a hyper real.
Yeah.
Like it's like if you know when you take a photograph on your phone and you turn up the HDR and it just boosts the colors.
Yes,
and it's like what you're looking at doesn't look anything like this picture, but this picture looks like how you envisioned what you look at. If you get me. You know what I mean?
Or how it made you feel.
Yeah.
Sucker
so
Punch
really
have become that company. Sucker Punch, I think, have become ambassadors or something to the island of Tsushima after that game.
Well, actually, really? I was just about to bring that up. Yeah,
something like that.
No, seriously.
Wow.
Yeah, this is actually the impact that the kind of graphics in that particular game had, right? And yes, okay, people got into the characters as well and exploring that world, but really it was the graphics and the color and the art design that brought you in. Tourism and the interest in tourism for that island, the actual real island of Tsushima, has gone up by fucking loads. I read an article on it. People want to visit that island now, having played that game. They go, I want to see it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
Sucker Punch should make they should just make games like just pick an island and make a game about it. Just boost the industry in tourism. Can we get a game Australia, please?
Yeah. Looking for a game called the Aran Islands High. Did you hear actually they're gonna make a Ghost of Tsushima movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the guy who played Jin Sakai, I'll butcher his name, so I don't want to try and say
Suki something.
Yeah, I don't want to butcher his name, but he's interested in doing it.
I hope they give it to him because finally my wishes and prayers would have been answered to just get the fucking voice actor to do the main character.
See, in this case, I would agree with you because in this case,
yes,
he does look quite close, and also he's a great actor.
Yeah.
So,
but they based all the designs of all the characters on the actors, so it would make sense to just get the actors to play the characters.
Yeah, it would.
Yep.
I
agree with that.
Actually, what are people playing at the moment, or what's the most recent game people have played? There's not that many. Only you two.
I haven't really gotten a chance to play anything since Christmas, really. The Christmas break. But I've tried to jump into as much of the PS Plus games that I can. Just to get a feel of them, really, not to like delve right into them. But so I've tried out Abzu.
Oh yeah.
What's it got? Subnautica, I think was another free one, and Maquette.
Oh, how's Maquette? Is that VR?
No, it's not.
Oh,
I haven't
yeah.
tried any of the VR ones.
No, I'm thinking of another one. Yeah, I know the one. Yeah,
I played a bit of that one as well.
it's a puzzle game, right?
Yeah, it's quite nice. It's easy going, but like it is quite nice. I kind of have there's a little bit of a Gone Home vibe to it.
Yeah.
In how the story's been told, just by interacting, and some of the puzzles are kind of clever, not difficult, but just clever how they work. Subnautica, that's a pretty cool game, but I'm just not going to play it because it's like it's certainly, I think it's made for streamers and people like kind of, you know, in the comments interacting with you a bit. It's a survival game, but you've got like different bars and stuff like that, so your hunger meter would go down, so you have to go and try find some food. But then, if you cook it, it'll be better. But everything you're looking for scavenging is actually underwater, so you only have a certain amount of oxygen, so you can only go down for a certain amount of time and stuff like that. So it's a lot of like balancing your supplies and scavenging for stuff for survival. It's a pretty cool.
Have you met any of the Leviathans in that game yet?
No, I've only like delved into I've only played maybe an hour of it.
Yeah, there's a few of them that are kind of scary.
Ooh.
I watched a video on them.
Ooh.
And then Abzu is it's okay. It's not great.
Okay. Eric, what are you playing?
I was playing a bit of. I haven't actually done this week, compared to pretty much every other week.
I love that. Hold on. Sorry. It's just that the difference between you is hilarious. Because Adam was like, I haven't really gamed that much since Christmas. And then you're like, yeah, I haven't really gamed that much this week.
Not really this week. I'm playing a bit of Final Fantasy 8. Got back into that. I put on Cyberpunk 2077 actually again, just to check out the new update.
There's
1.2.
supposed to be like a shit ton of patches or something, is there?
Yeah. So people are like, the 1.2 it like makes it like a completely different game. And I put it on and went, I mean, it hasn't crashed in the last hour, but other than that, it looks like the same game. So I think you guys are overhyping this.
Is this on PS5 you're playing that?
PS5, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe it makes more of an effect on PS4 though.
Maybe.
Like the PS4 game could be way more of a shit show than anything you've experienced.
Definitely.
That's true. Because actually, I think I definitely had a much nicer experience than what everyone else had on the PS5.
Surely, yeah, you must have, because the way some people are talking about it, you'd swear they crapped in their fucking bed, like.
But yeah, then there is rumors about like releasing new DLC and stuff for it. So I'm interested to see what they're doing there. Played a bit of Final Fantasy 8, if I didn't already say that.
You did, yeah. Say it again.
Yeah.
That game is actually about time travel and stuff, so that's fitting.
I haven't got to that part yet, but apparently
that's much later. Yeah, that's much later.
Spoiler. What else have I played? I mean, I think there was that game Remnant of the Ashes or something.
Oh yeah,
that was a Plus game. Is it good?
So there was Maquette as well at the same month. I played a bit. Remnant is I played that for like, I don't know. I kind of went, I'm going to not play this again.
Okay. Good review.
It's like, right, so you know Darksiders.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it'd be like Darksiders, but if you played as the humans. Right?
Right.
All right, that sounds pretty cool.
And then, so imagine that, but then not good.
Okay. Is it first person? I always imagined it was
No. It's a third person over shoulder Dark Souls-y style, dungeon crawling-y style game where it's just like
with Sonic the Hedgehog. It's just you're just throwing in all kinds of fucking.
Yeah, it's a Metal Gear Solid-y, Tomb Raider-y, Gears of War-y. Like, none of those are the same.
So you know
No,
that
but
game
then,
that you're
like-
thinking right now? Not like that.
It's not that.
It's not that at all, no.
Have you ever
but
played? Have you ever played? Have you ever played Duke Nukem, Land of the Babes?
No.
Okay, well, it's nothing like that.
It is nothing like that.
So,
But like you rest at a crystal and then all the enemies respawn and you fight the enemies and stuff like so that's quite dungeon crawling
okay,
roguelike. Then the idea of the fact that you're this human with this like raggedy clothes, and you're fighting these mythical or not mythical but like these kind of what's the word for creatures that aren't aliens? Kind of fucking not mythical either.
locals, I don't know. Natives.
To fight these
Terrestrial?
No, magical style creatures that come from a different world. Oh, aliens actually. All right, so like that's kind of where it's kind of like we're Darksiders. So because you're fighting these creatures from a different world that are destroying the whole Earth, and your clothes style match the clothes style of the humans you do meet in the Darksider franchise. But the graphics that is one where you do look at it and go, how are the graphics this bad?
Okay.
Consider when it came out, and the voice acting is awful and the timing is really bad. So yeah, no, as a game, I mean, grand for PlayStation Plus. Thank God I didn't fucking spend any money on that. But
you should definitely do you should do videos that are separate to these podcasts, which is just your review of a game. Like, I don't know, quick 5-minute reviews. It's just, yeah.
Oh, sorry. And then the main highlight of the week was the Hitman 3 first mission. Yeah, which was a stunning game, and just I was like, I remember how fun this is. Just one of the ways I assassinated the guys was I got them into the same room, locked the room, fiber wired one of the guys, so that's choke him out of it, and then took out the machine gun and shot the other guy, and then hit him in a basket and opened the yoke and walked out and parachuted off the building. That's how I got out. And I was like, that's fucking Hitman.
I've watched a lot of videos of Hitman 3 and different ways people assassinate people. It does look gas. It looks like a bit of crack. Killing people with bananas and stuff.
The first mission is free.
Oh, okay. I might give it a go then. That sounds good.
It's 60-something gigabytes, but it's free.
Give it to me.
I'm actually out of room already on the console. I keep having to fucking
very close. Very close.
delete shit all the time.
Yeah. That I hope storage gets sorted soon. I hope there's something released
Yeah, that's
to do
weird
that.
they haven't
Announced anything?
Yeah.
I think so too. I was thinking about that today, and I think about it every day. No, I've been playing a lot of party games recently. I suppose because you're trying to do stuff on Zoom and stuff or whatever, Discord with people. So I was playing a lot of those Jackbox games and stuff. But myself and Ash also like to play a few rounds of Knowledge is Power. That game doesn't really matter for its graphics, to be honest, but it's a fun game to play.
Would that game be better with better graphics?
No, that's a game where honestly the graphics do not matter. It's quite like Temple Run in that way. It's just fun to play, fun and addictive. That's what that game is. But the other game I've been playing recently was Mortal Kombat 11, which I have played before, but I was able to get a PS5 update for it, and also I'm kind of hyping myself up lately for the Mortal Kombat movie, which will be coming soon. So I threw it back on. I've yet to play the Aftermath expansion, which I got because it's on sale at the moment. So I decided, right, it's cheaper now, I might as well get it. And so I haven't jumped into it yet, but I'm gonna jump into that soon. So I kind of look forward to that. But we'd love to hear from other people. So let us know what you've been playing recently, no matter what kind of platform it's on, whether it's a mobile game or a console game or whatever it is, or maybe it's party game, whatever it is. And also, how important are graphics to you? And what are the best graphics you've ever experienced in a game? And what game do you think could have been greatly improved had the graphics been better? All that's lovely stuff. You can also let us know your take on some of the stuff that we brought up and some of the games that we mentioned throughout this discussion. If you're listening to YouTube, please jump down into the comments and let us know any of your takes or any of your opinions throughout the discussion. And if you enjoyed this, please give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and click that notification bell so you know we put out future content. You can also touch base with us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take. If you've been listening to us on audio platforms, hit that follow icon. And thank you so much for listening. We'll be back to talk to you guys about more gaming-related topics next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.